Welcome to this look at a new mod pack on Farming Simulator 25 with me, MrSealyp. Ladies and gentlemen, the crude oil production is making a return to Farming Simulator 25. This is by Bartson V3, 62.01 megabytes download. Now there's a lot of stuff involved in this pack, that's why I'm doing a mod pack spotlight video. It's just too much, I couldn't have fitted into the rest of the mod review that I did earlier. Now I'm just trying to think how this is all panned out. So we've got a load of stuff going on. We need oil extraction out of the ground. We need to take that oil and we need to take it to refineries where it can refine it into other products, and then there are sell points. We've got tankers, we've got all sorts of stuff going on. So what I'll do, I'll start with the extraction and refineries first. Everything's very nicely made and detailed, as you can see. The only thing I will say, and I probably said exactly the same thing on 22 when this came out, is the nodding donkeys, these things, the oil extraction things, those ones are placeables which earn you income, generators. This one is a production, and it is running. And I know it's that kind of, oh yeah, you know, shoulda, woulda, coulda, if only, wouldn't it be wonderful if. I'm surprised they don't operate. I mean, that would add a whole, that would be the next level of immersion to the whole thing. That all being said, it still does all the things it should do. So if we go into our build mode, and in our factory section we come down to just here. So we start off with this one. This is the oil well pump, 13 slots, 100,000 to buy, and that's this one here. So this is a production which will bring oil out the ground. Now this one requires you to bring barrels, so it will bring the oil out of the ground and put them into barrels. That's what it should, would, will do. You can see a pallet sitting down there already, and we'll check that in a moment. So that's the first one. That's a smaller production of the two. Then we've got this one here, which is the big oil pump. This is 11 slots, 200,000. That's this big building here. Now that requires water and diesel. The water and diesel, much deeper pumping situation, and it will bring crude oil out of the ground. Doesn't put it in pallets, but it's a faster operation as well for that to run. Once you've got the oil out of the ground, you can either set it, this will bring up pallets, but this one you can set to distributing if you want to, or you can use tankers. We'll get into the tankers in a while. And then you take your oil, you can either sell it immediately, or you can then take it to a refinery, and the refinery will then take it and make it into other products, which you can then either use for your storylines, your narratives. Some of the stuff in here is pretty cool, and I think for storytelling it's quite a good thing, but if you just want to run it as a production, run it as a production, that's fine. So the small refinery is 30 slots, 70,000 to buy. The medium refinery is 38 slots, 150,000 to buy. That's the small refinery, this bit here, and this one here in this larger fenced in section is the medium refinery. There's no large refinery on this one. So that's as far as it goes with regard to getting oil out of the ground and then onward production. We'll look at those productions in a moment. This is where you'll find everything. If we go across from our factories to our sell points, now it's difficult because the wording can often be confusing. And in the Modhub description on the website, it refers to things as, it says average purchase of product sales. You've got a small selling station, and then you've got crude oil purchase point. Now that can be misleading because your brain then says, oh, I can purchase crude oil, so I haven't got an SA pump out of the ground, I can go and purchase it. No, what it means is they purchase it from you. They are sell points, and they are all under here. So average purchase of product sales, and it takes all those things, not just the things from this pack, but it takes a whole lot of other stuff as well. That is 17 slots, 40,000 to buy. Then we've got a small sales stall. Again, takes quite a lot of the products, various different things in there. The small sales stall is 13 slots, 4,000 to buy. And then we've got this one here, which is the crude oil sales point. And that one is 9 slots and is 10,000 to buy. So you'll see we've got the larger one there. We've got the small stall there, and then we've got this one here, and these can be placed wherever you like. I've just put them here because it's for convenience to look at and all the rest of it, but you can put them anywhere you want on your map. However you want to go about running your production is entirely up to you. Now if we come from there and we come all the way out to generators, and you've got just here, he says every time, so just there is the oil pump. Now the oil pump is under generators. That's 5 slots, 80,000 to buy, and each one will earn you 7,680 per calendar month. I've placed 3. Again, they're not nodding, but you can place these around your map. You might have a little oil field, you might want to have a few of these, and they're earning you a bit of extra income while the rest of your oil production is doing its thing. That again is entirely up to you. Now if we come out of there, that is all the buildings. But then if we come into this menu here and we come down to our pallets, so our palleted items, our smaller production extraction unit requires empty oil barrels. So each one is 20. You get 159 litres in each. They are liftable by hand. But here's the kicker. It's a bit of a... I think it was the same with FS22. If I click on that now, you can't do multiples. So I can't get 8 of those. And then I can grab them with whatever I'm going to grab them with. The fact you can pick them up by hand is quite cool because you can load them onto the back of a trailer or whatever you'll take them in, which again adds to a kind of immersion. Or what you could do if you wanted to, if you were running some kind of storyline, you could put these all around the map and you've got to go and collect them up. Again, whatever you want to do, but you do pick these up by hand. Now, what's quite cool about these is the recipe, the ratios for the barrels is a 1-to-1. At least that's what the recipe shows as a 1-to-1. So because the barrels only cost 20 for 159 litres and it's a 1-to-1, for 1,000 litres you're gonna make out of it. I mean, that's kind of the point behind it. So that's the oil barrels. Now we move on to barrels, and when I say barrels I mean barrels as in under animals, and under barrels we've got our transportation one. So these 4 here are your transportation barrels that come as part of this pack. We've got the MKS 8, the MKS 32, the Abbey 550 and the Abbey 1600. Slot counts on these are 4, 4, 3 and 5. So 4, 4, 3 and 5. And you can see down the bottom all the various things these will take. So they will also do your milk, they'll do your water, they'll do your liquid fertilizer, do your herbicide. They will do crude oil, and they will do some of the liquid. You've got diesel there, LPG, and is it kerosene? I can't remember which one it is. But they will do the various different things. You notice that one there doesn't do the LPG. These pressurised tanks will. These are sort of plastic tanks. They won't. Options on them are pretty standard. You've got a main colour and a rim colour on all of them. That's your tankers that come in part of this pack. And then what we've also got under miscellaneous, is it miscellaneous? We have also got just here the FST 990, the Thunder Creek. So this is under the oil production as well. This is 3 slots, 29,500, 3,750 litre tank, and this will do diesel, crude oil, and the LPG. I've got to remember what the other one is. We'll look at when we see in the menu in just a moment. So as far as I can tell, looking down the list and all the stuff, I've been through all the various different menus, I think that's everything that comes in the pack. So I didn't get all of the things out. We have got the large tanker, the MKS 32. We've got the Abbey just here, and then we've got the Thunder Creek just here. So what we'll do, we'll go over first of all to our smaller of our extraction devices. This is the oil well pump, the smaller one. So as you can see here, we'll take empty oil barrels, 15,000 litres, and then the recipe is 318 to 318. So pretty straightforward. And then your crude oil out. Now, that's interesting. 318 to 318 out. I'm going to double check to see how much we've got, because I think we've got a pallet out already, and I've got some barrels to go in. So this is our first pallet out. So this should have crude oil in it. There you go, crude oil, 318 litres. So it's 2 of those combined. Yeah, so it's a 1-to-1. But what's good, and I say if we go to our prices, if we come down to our crude oil, obviously that's not going to be 1,000 litres, it's only 318. So it'll take 3 of them to do this. But if we come down to our crude oil 908, 1,321 at the crude oil sales point, which is kind of, that's pretty good. You want that really. So 1,321. Divide that by 3. You're nowhere near the 20 litres per barrel. It was 20, wasn't it? Yeah. The 20 you're paying per barrel. Yes, you've got the cost of the production in the first place, but you're quid's in. You're easily making your money back, no problem at all. If you just ran that and just sold the crude oil, you get one of those going, and it's a happy day all round. Like I say, these can be picked up by hand. They can be picked up with various different grabs and things like that, and then gradually take them, and away your production will run again. But I say, how you want to go about doing these. I like the detail on them's very good, weathered, rusty. You know, it's got a good look about it. So, but this is going to take a little bit longer to get what you need. and you are going to get it out as pallets. I think I'm going to come out already. I don't think, let me just double check this one. Actually, we probably can change output. We can set it to distributing, so you don't have to have the pallets come out. So you don't have to be manoeuvred. These aren't liftable now. There are two, but you don't have to take these. You can use a tanker. You can set it to distributing straight to a refinery if you want to, which is pretty cool. So then we move on to the larger of the extraction buildings. So putting in is done around the back here, just there. Taking out, if you're going to use a tanker to move your crude oil, or just take your crude oil and sell it, you'll do it from these tanks around the front. And then our production here, so this is the larger one, diesel and water in, crude oil out. So this is a 15 water, 5 diesel to 200 crude oil out. Cycles a month, 48. So it's a much better proposition. It'll run a little bit faster, you'll get a little bit more. That being said, I've only got 106 litres, and this has been running the whole time that my other productions have been going. So actually, the other production is running faster, but you've got all the hassle of all the barrels. This is running slower, but you're going to get more out of it in the long run for what you're putting in. Does that make sense? Kind of makes sense. Although that being said, I've probably gone over an hour, so I have set this to distributing, so I probably have had some distribute out if I've gone over an hour. So the recipe, yeah, I mean, to be fair, you can't really compare them. They are, yeah, I mean, it's 72 cycles, 318 to 318, 48 cycles. Yeah, the recipes are completely different. It's a different thing in, but the same thing out. So those are both of these for extraction. We've seen the sell points, they're here, and the prices. Again, if you're not sure with any of the prices, come into your prices menu, and then when you're scrolling up and down, you'll see there crude oil sales point for the crude oil. So whatever item it is we happen to be selling, and what we'll do is we'll have a look down here when we do the refineries at the prices for the various different items, because some like bearing grease there, look at the prices to the right hand side. And this is a long-term prospect. This is a thing that can run on a map for, or you could set a map up and have it in the background, and maybe the government runs it, or however you want to do it. It's entirely up to you. So this is the small refinery. Again, in and out. We should get pallets. I will speed up time. We shouldn't have any pallets yet, I don't think. No. So what we're going to do is click on there. Have we got any crude oil in? Yeah. So our main crude oil that I set to distributing has distributed some in here, but not enough yet for it to run. So this one, you'll see the smaller one. Our storage and our cycles and recipes are going to be less than the larger one. But interestingly, or from what I gleaned from when I was sort of having a look at this, at the bottom one, for example, paraffin, 318 crude oil to 12 paraffin. I'm pretty sure that the medium one is 318 to 13 paraffin. So the recipe's not much different. It might be one more on what you get out of it. But it's the cycles a month that are more, and the capacity, the storage capacity is bigger on the medium one. So these are things that we can make. Bearing grease, diesel, so we can make our own diesel here. Gasoline, that was what it was, that was kerosene. Gasoline, kerosene, LPG, motor oil. Now at the moment we have no onward products for any of these things. These would just be something you could have at your local garage and you can go and pick them up, or, you know, like I say, whatever storyline you want to run. But what I'm going to do is set all of these running, and I will speed up time because I want to see the pallets of things that come out, how long it's going to take us roughly to get stuff out of these. I might need to bring in, that's a lot of barrels, but I suppose I could do. So that's the small refinery. Now we can have a look at the medium refinery in here, and you'll see what I mean. So the capacities and storages, incoming materials, is much larger. And if we come down to here, again, you'll see what I said, the paraffin, look at the recipe, 318 to 13, yeah. But the cycles a month are much higher. Let's go to the small refinery. So the cycles a month on this one were 96. Cycles a month on this one was 192. So it will run faster on the larger one, which is pretty standard as far as it goes for productions. Usually the bigger the facility, normally the higher the recipe, the faster the production, the cycles a month, and the better and faster it will run. So in essence, that's what it will do. I mean, I can go and, I mean, I'll show you. We can grab the lorry. There won't be much in it, but we can, if we're not, no, that's the tractor, not the lorry. At the end of the day, the sell points are the sell points. They will do their thing. My generators will do their thing. So So what we should be able to do now, there won't be a lot in here, but there you go. So crude oil, I can take the diesel back out if I want to, but it's the crude oil I want. So take the crude oil out, and then I can, so like I say, if you've got these facilities spread around a map, you might have your extraction unit somewhere. Wherever you have found oil on your map, that's where your extraction might be, and then you might have your refinery down in the valley or down somewhere else or wherever it might be. I have noticed since the last update, the clipping distance for fences and stuff, when you're putting down animal pens like this one, you can't see the rear fence on this, and we're not that far away from it, and as we back up it comes into view. Yeah, now it seems to be worse than it was before. Right, put my crude oil in. There we go. So I mean, that in essence is how that works, whether it's pallets, whether it's loose, whether you're setting it to automatically distribute, that is entirely up to you. Click on there and then we're back to where we were before. So what I'm going to do now is speed up time. I'm on 1 day months, it's 2:18. I'll go to tomorrow morning and we'll see what we've got. So these should chug. I don't know whether I want to put some more barrels in. Let's say if you could do it in 8s. The barrel thing is the only thing yeah, it's frustrating. I can kind of see probably why it's been done this way, to give you a more manual experience, but if you could do 8s at a time, it would make this proposition a lot easier to run and operate. And if I had to place this down by where the barrels are spawning, of course I could sling them over if I wanted to, but I think we'll just leave that one running as it is. Let me see in a little while and let's see what we've got. Okay, now this is obviously it's a trickier proposition when you're doing it like this, because I'm trying to do it for a mod review, but because I've only got that main one running, I could set up another one potentially, and that is set to distributing, and that is distributing between 2 different refineries, the small and the medium. As you can see bottom right though, we're 8 o'clock the next day, so it is, we've got some crude oil, we've got some kerosene, we've got some bearing grease, diesel, gasoline, LPG. This is the big one, but we haven't got a full load of anything yet. If we go to the medium one, they're all running, but I haven't got everything being produced, because I just think the crude oil, this is potentially the other downside to this. I know it's supposed to be a slower process. That is not producing enough to keep these running at an optimum amount. If you look bottom right now, I've got crude oil, kerosene, bearing grease, diesel and gasoline, but I haven't got some of the other ones. If we click on here, look across the right hand side, I've got 0 LPG, 0 motor oil and 0 paraffin. Kerosene's only on 2. It really hasn't made hardly anything at all. Now I know the cycles a month are slower, or lower, whichever way you want to look at it, and it is trying to split all of the crude oil coming from there between the 2 facilities. But this is a process that is going to take a while. It is going to take a while. You're probably not going to run both of these. You would run one or the other. Would you have more than one of these buildings running? I would say possibly not. This thing, bizarrely, I've run out now because I didn't put any more in. I mean, we're looking at, what's that, 1,200 litres, nearly 1,300 litres has come out of that fairly quickly. But even 1,300 litres, and if I'd have kept that stocked up with barrels, I'd have way more sitting out here now. But I didn't. You know, it ran out of barrels, and I kind of left that to go because it is. It's quite labour intensive. I think is probably the point I'm trying to make. It's labour intensive. That's labour intensive, runs quite quickly. This isn't, but it's running. It runs really slowly. If you bear in mind, this holds 15,000 litres of each, and I'm down to 14,800, 14,400. It hasn't used hardly anything at all. But then, to be fair, the recipe gives you way more out than you're actually putting in. So I'm going to do speed up time again. So we'll probably go into the next month. 8 o'clock tomorrow. We'll see, and then maybe 8 o'clock the month after, and we'll see what we got. I'm determined to get a pallet of something out. Okay, we're another month on, and I'm at my tanks, which are around the back, because in our tanks is gasoline and LPG. So what I think I'm probably going to do is switch those off from production. I'm starting to wonder whether the small one, there's an issue, because our small refinery, I've still got LPG, motor oil and paraffin, nothing being produced at all, which is weird. Gasoline, fine. Diesel's being produced, which is fine. So if you look in our tank here, for example, if I click on this now, Jump in there, click on this. We've already produced some diesel, we've produced gasoline, we've produced LPG, which is fine. And all these can be put in this tank, can be taken off and can be sold. Awesome. They're not going to be produced in pallets. So what I'm going to do is go into our productions here. We're going to turn off diesel, we're going to turn off gasoline, going to turn off LPG on the small, and we're going to do the same on the medium. So diesel, gasoline and LPG, because we know those are coming out into the tanks, we know they're being produced, and those will be coming out as liquids. And like I say, if I pick on whichever one it is, let's say gasoline, there you go, we're filling up our gasoline. I should be able to take that off and we'll sell some. So now's a good time to look at the prices. So if we start here, bearing grease, we saw the price, that was pretty good. And this is why it's going to take a long time to do these, because the prices are pretty good. It's not going to be an instant overnight sort of all of a sudden. We saw the crude oil already. Prices aren't fantastic on crude oil, but that's fine. Gasoline, not too bad. High ones, low twos. What else have we got? I don't want to miss anything. Kerosene. That's up there at some of the sell points that come with this pack. And as you can see, you've got the standard sell points from the game. The prices are okay, but they're definitely higher on the ones that come with it. LPG, that's up there. That's not too. That's a pretty good price actually. LPG. If we come down to our motor oil, again, pretty good price. Small sales stall, 23 grand for 1,000 litres, but it's going to take a while to get to 1,000 litres. Paraffin, I've got hardly any of that being produced, which is bizarre, and the price isn't that high. So I'm starting to be a little bit concerned. I'm not going to lie. Right, take this over. Let's sell this. So I've turned off all those extra productions. So what I'm going to do now is we'll skip ahead another month and see if we can have any of those. That's odd, to say the least. We'll take it to. It doesn't matter which sell point we take it to. Obviously the prices will vary, but we'll take it to the larger one over here. Sell some gasoline. That's all right, isn't it? I love the fact you get a bonus for environmental score. We're drilling and extracting crude oil. We've got a facility that's probably not the best for the environment, but we do all right in the environmental score. That's good. So, right, say another month, and let's see, because I am wondering now why we're not getting. Yeah, we didn't get LPG on this one, did we? Motor oil and paraffin. I don't know why it's not. Because the storage is round here. Because I suddenly thought maybe I've put them too close together. Maybe it's storing it over there. But why would it? This is built in. It wouldn't make sense that it would. We've got diesel and gasoline. Oh, now we've got something that's popped up. Anyway, yeah, skip out another month. Let's see what we get. Hallelujah! We are another month in and we have got a pallet of kerosene here at the medium refinery. So what I'm going to do is turn the kerosene off. I think it's what I was saying. Let's turn that off. The biggest problem we've got is supply. We've got a tiny bit of paraffin. We've got a tiny bit of motor oil. I've turned all the other things off. Bearing grease is running, but again 121 litres, that's all. It's just simply that is not producing enough. When you look at the recipes, like I know I keep going back to saying the same thing, all of the recipes say 318. The diesel 318, gasoline 318, 318, 318, 318, 318. So well, I get it, because it's two lots of the barrels. The barrels are 159 litres. Two of those barrels is 318. I get that, I do. But that just is not running enough through it. There's not pumping enough to run all of the productions. It's that thing of you might have to pick one at a time and then run that. That might work. There's just not enough crude oil coming in, I think, is probably the issue. Again, unless I'm missing something glaringly obvious, but that's the problem I'm finding. If I come over to our small one, we're back to here again. Motor oil, 0, still nothing. I've had no motor oil being produced at all. Kerosene's going up a little bit. We've already seen what a pallet of that looks like, so what we'll do, we'll turn that off. No, turn it off. So now we're just doing bearing grease, motor oil and paraffin here. And just see, like I say, we should get something. I mean, the other option is to switch it all off at one and get it all going over to, but the problem is we've got, unless I remove this building, this is what I've always said about productions, is this building is set to distributing, any building that can receive the crude oil from here will receive it. So whether I'm running this or not, that I'm distributing will distribute to that one and this one, whether I'm running it or not. So, you know, it's the only thing with productions, you can't specify where it distributes to. You can't do a lot about that. So I don't know how many more months I'm going to run. I'll do another couple and we'll see what we get. I know I've put an image up. The image comes from the website. That's from the modders themselves. And you can look at that image, you can look at the thumbnail, and you'll see what the pallets look like. But I was just curious to see how long it was going to take to produce them. I think what I might do, you know what? I know it seems a bit extreme. Let's remove that. So now everything is distributing from here to there. It's not splitting it in any way. What I might do actually, if I've got a telehandler, I might move those barrels and put those in there as well. That'll add a bit more in and see if we can get something out. We are into the next month, and this is where I am calling it. This is the purpose of mod reviews, mod spotlights, whatever it might be. It's to work out how things work, the way they work, the processes, the cycles, the speeds, that kind of stuff, and to inform you, to give you an informed decision as to what you want to run. If it was me, I would probably run, if I could work out a way of manipulating the barrels that didn't drive me insane, because the small extractor gets you more oil quicker. The larger one, for me, it's just it runs too slow. And the other thing about this is, again, this may be completely realistic, and that's absolutely fine. The refining process, and I'll keep saying about 318, but I wasn't talking about the other side of the recipe, because it's refining down. So it's a 318 down to something, and that's why it's taking so long to get pallets out. But it's also why they're worth so much coming out the other end. It's why we got diesel, gasoline first and LPG first, because those recipes were 318 to 100, 318 to 155. I'll show you the recipes in just a minute. So this is for you to then decide, do I want to run it? Do I want to run parts of it? Would I use it for a storyline, a narrative, whatever? The images of the pallets, it's just for my own personal, I just wanted to see the pallets out. But at the end of the day, they are on the thumbnail. If you want to have a look at the thumbnail, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And I know I showed it already, and I know I'm repeating myself, but under bearing grease, we look across the right hand side, it's down the bottom, it's 318 to 6. It's 192 cycles a month, but it's 318 to 6. That means we have to bring in a huge amount of crude oil to get 1,000 litres of bearing grease out. That's a lot of crude oil, which that crude oil extraction, the bigger facility, is just not producing enough, or not quick enough. It's not producing it. If we come down to our recipe here for our motor oil, that's a 318 to 5. The paraffin's a bit better, 318 to 13, but still, with all three of those running, it's a catastrophic amount of crude oil that would be required. So that's what I mean. The smaller one is producing more crude oil quicker, but you've got all the hassle of the barrels. So it comes down to what you would rather. And look at and like I said, look at the diesel. The diesel recipe, 318 to 100. The gasoline's 318 to 155. The kerosene, 318 to 48. Not as horrendous. The LPG, that's quite low. That's why that was taking a while as well. So that, in essence, is what this now boils down to. If you wanted to just place these and as a generator to earn you some income, you've got an oil field, you know, you've inherited a bit of land, and it turns out there's oil up in them there hills. You could have 2 or 3 of those running, and then have one of these. You might just want to bring up barrels, get crude oil, and sell the crude oil on. Again, whatever you want to do is entirely up to you, but that is the pack. Like I say, rightly or wrongly, that's the crude oil production by Bart's and V3. I hope you found all of this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.